Hello,
Hi.
everybody. Let's hope this video works out better. I think it looks pretty good. But today we're going to talk about a very tender subject, and that's children. I love children, but a lot of people ask, what is it like for children to be spirits? Hi, Eric.
He said, "Hi, Mama. I love you."
I love you too. Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
So tell us as much as you can about spirits,
Eric
children
Eric
spirits.
wanted to know if he could be included in being a child.
Yeah,
He
you'll
goes,
always.
probably not, right?
Yeah, you'll always be my baby.
He goes, but I know what you're talking about, Mom. You
Yeah.
mean like under the age of what, 15?
Yeah, maybe even younger than that. Let's say 10 and below.
10 and below.
Before they get to that annoying stage. Let's talk about it.
He's laughing. The double digits age.
Yeah.
He goes, so what do you want to know?
Hmm?
It's
Well,
pretty funny if we're talking about children's struggles and deaths and transitions and processes like that. It's so much easier for them during those age frames than it is from 15 up,
why? Why is that?
because they're still connected to the beyond.
Mm-hmm.
They still understand that there is a safety
Mm-hmm.
or some kind of security, a place for them to go and belong.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly during these ages, he goes, I'm just going to talk in general because I have no idea what he just said. A
Eric,
little mumbled. It was a little mumbled.
he mumbles sometimes.
Um, because during this age frame, he's explaining in general the way that our culture is working in America, that it used to be every child belonged to a religion,
Mm-hmm.
and they went from a young age and learned what that religion was, and they had a language to it. They knew a certain belief structure or system. Nowadays, not every child is taking that path. More so now, they're not than when they were
Mm-hmm.
before. And it leaves it completely open for them to stay attached to the things that they could remember before they came into this place, and even stay attached to those memories up until about age 6 or 7. And he goes, I'm picking those ages because that's when they get into the public school system,
Yeah.
the school systems,
They
they
get
get into,
indoctrinated.
yeah, they
Yeah.
get taught
Yeah.
um, linear time. They get
Mm-hmm.
taught that one is based on the other and so forth. And they start to let go of what they carried in and what they naturally knew belonged to them. They then start to believe that they're inferior,
Yeah.
that there's an authority figure, that they need to report to someone, and that external, did you say pleasing? External pleasing is more important than internal pleasing.
Mm.
Before this age, during illness, pain, they don't ask, why me?
Mm.
They just don't have that desire of understanding. They just know that that's their body and this is what's happening. This is what is happening. They might need to understand the disease and the process of it or what's occurring.
Mm-hmm.
But in the death process, there's no fear built into it yet.
Mm.
It is a part of something that they're going to do. And mostly when you read, he's talking about documented cases about children with disease that have transitioned. It'll be stated in there, he says, that the child will be still caring for everybody else in the room.
Mm.
Even the doctor, the nurse, the parents, inquiring what they're, letting them know that everything is okay with them, and showing this amazing amount of strength and calm. He goes, but it's really not that. We're defining it as strength and perseverance because as an adult, that's what we're taught is required to go through these times and these moments. But really, they're just showing acceptance. That's
Wow.
all it is. They just have it innately, acceptance. And he goes, I'm not saying that this is only for those who aren't trained in religious beliefs. That's not true. I'm just talking about anyone in any belief system up until about 6 or 7. Then when we get to 7 and 10, you're going to hear more of these why me's. Why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Why can't I fix it?
Mm.
Because they've already been in the system and we're training them that they are independent, that they are in control.
Yeah.
And if
And
they're hurting, it's because of something that they did. They
oh,
didn't please someone, they didn't do something right, they didn't take something right,
okay.
and they have a sense of loss of control.
So what's it like when they cross over for them? Because they probably don't have any kind of belief system to create their own afterlife idea of afterlife. So what's it like?
He says no, but most of them know what a party is.
Oh, partay.
And he goes, and that's normally what happens,
Oh,
is the
okay.
party. By then, if they're with a disease and they're going in and out of it and they've had struggles, they will have already had dreams and connections to loved ones in other dimensional planes. They'll have this awareness. And he goes, and that's same with infants that don't have English language,
Mm-hmm.
where they can't talk to you yet, little
Right.
guys.
Right.
And he said, trust me, there is a language there that you're not getting as the mommy, as the daddy. When they're going to sleep, the family members, the angels, the loved ones are already working with them, already taking care of them.
Oh.
When they're transitioning, he says, whether it's from SIDS, yeah, that is SIDS, isn't it? Sudden,
Death syndrome, yeah.
um, he says they're not having those moments of fear or struggle or panic because death doesn't have that meaning for them.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just a different process, another process. They're still living every moment in their curious life, learning something new every time they enter a room, every time they step on the floor with acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
So when this process comes to them, they're accepting.
Well, why did they
When
choose?
they
Oh, go ahead.
when they get to the other side, Mom, he said mostly it's celebratory.
Hmm.
They are already remembering that they've been there before, that there's a familiarity. There's normally never a fear or an anxiety or where am I? Because
Yeah.
I've never seen.
Mommy.
He said I'll see it with older kids,
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, why? Where am
Yeah.
I? And panicking, trying to get back into their body
Mm.
because they've already been trained that death is not successful.
Mm.
You have to be alive to be successful.
Mm. Hmm. So, why do some people make it their spiritual contract to die so young?
As well, it's going to depend on the people who are around them, in their family, in their life. Normally, the infant, in general, he'll do his hands out. In
Hmm.
general, we're talking about the little guys, infants. In general, they're letting go of their lives to make an impact on those around them. So those family to understand death, separation, to understand love, living in the moment, living in the now,
Yeah,
because that's normally what goes along with something of that nature.
it's true.
On a rarity, the infant who dies will choose it for themselves
Mm-hmm.
as an incompletion. They started something that they couldn't finish to kind of understand this. He goes, but normally that young, there's just not a.
Okay. What about the case of miscarriages and stillbirths?
He said a lot of those are the physical body not making it or designing it properly. So those really don't come with a contract per se with the baby soul. That's
Okay.
more of the contract with the mother's
Uh,
body, with the mother experiencing, I'm not good enough, I didn't make it, so it's really self-centered and a self-lesson,
yeah.
not so much about the baby spirit.
Okay.
And he goes, in those cases, normally the spirit of the infant isn't really inside or struggling with that. They don't really experience the death process because they didn't really even come into the
Yeah.
physical body.
Well, that's true.
He goes, we do. We call that side saddle. It's like
I tell
the
that's
little
right.
spirit is sitting side saddle.
Okay. All right. So, but in these instances, we're teaching the mother something. Is that child here to? Did he come to teach the mother or the parents something? That whole thing of like I'm not successful and
No, the spirit will help with the
okay,
lesson, but it's not there to teach. It's not
okay,
coming in with independent knowledge and giving it to the mother. It's giving the mother an experience
Mm-hmm.
and accepting that her body has a level of intelligence in and of itself,
Mm-hmm.
that it's not anything that she ate or she did or didn't do or didn't know or know too much. He said there's a lot of trust that needs to happen. Sometimes, really, sometimes kids will come in, they'll hop on a pregnancy. His terms are so funny. The visuals that come with them sometimes just make me stop.
Like
Hop
hopping
into a
on board a
pregnancy.
train.
Yeah, here we go. And follow through with the miscarriage so that the mother will trust the body better on the second pregnancy. Like, not come into it with more fear and more anxiety, but come into it as, okay, the worst has already happened. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And when the baby comes the second time, third time, fourth time, whatever it is, there is this you have arrived moment. And you are here and you are special and you are a survivor in some sense, when really they just had a normal, healthy pregnancy, or sometimes maybe it was a difficult pregnancy. But it's to help the child build a certain bond with the mother.
Okay. And that would probably be an even stronger bond if that's even possible. When you've lost so many babies,
Yes.
the one you carry to term feels special to you.
Yes. And he says, I've met spirits who have ridden that train 4 or 5 times before they end up with a full-term pregnancy with their mother, their parents.
Now, you know, we spirits, we souls, we come into our life to teach each other things and learn from each other, of course. Now, children must do the same thing, but do they teach us something different than an adult spirit would when they come in?
He said, yeah.
Like what?
He goes, there's so much to take in on this.
Well, I mean, for example, there might be a lesson of loss, because losing a child is just so horrible that loss is so much deeper than other losses. So would that be an example?
That is a great example.
Okay.
Trust. Trust is a huge one. Because this kind of trust between parent and child comes with a certain kind of knowing, an understanding. Because you want to hold tight, but at the same time you can't. You have to let loose. You can't do both at the same time. There's got to be a middle, and in that middle is that perfect amount of trust. And that's what they're supplying.
Okay.
Erik went on to talk about the beauty of having a child and not having the English language to communicate, and just being able to play off visual cues.
Or any language.
Yes, any language. Just physical language, physical cues, and noticing the smell, the look, the everything else but the language. And he said, try that with your sweetheart or your lover later today. Just like pick an evening where you can't talk. And he goes, and see how deep immediately it becomes.
Okay, that's an exercise for all of you guys. We are going to call this part 1 because we have several other parts to. I don't know, y'all's attention span is probably too short to go for a 30-minute video. I know you guys, you're like me. So we'll close off here. And Jamie, thank you so much for this. Erik,
You're welcome.
Erik, thank you so much for this too, sweetie.
You're welcome, Mama.
And so you guys check out Jamie's site, withloveandlight.com, www. I don't think you even have to put that, withloveandlight.com.
All spelled out.
Subscribe to her newsletters, and you will find out all sorts of cool events coming up. We're going to have a big Channeling Erik weekend of, as Erik said, effing enlightenment in Denver. So sold out. Sorry, guys.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun.
And if you love Channeling Erik, definitely go to channelingerik.com, and that's Erik with a K, remember. If Erik
is distracting you, huh?
Yeah, he's telling me all the things. He goes, oh, don't forget to talk about, going to the archives, but don't forget to looking at the other YouTube videos. And he says, and he goes, tell them to like me.
Oh, I heart
He says,
Erik.
I'll prank you if you like me.
And he will, people. He will.
He will. Oh my gosh, I had somebody else share their prank the other day. They woke up hearing their name repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, blah, blah, blah. And they sat up and they went, what? And looked up and saw this young boy in the room, a little bit of a curly hair,
That's
thin.
it.
And she goes,
Erik.
it didn't dawn on her until later on. She goes, oh my God, that was Erik.
Wow, I bet she
Way to
freaked out.
go.
All right,
She
be
did
aware,
freak out.
be
All
aware,
right,
beware,
be aware.
and be aware. All right, bye guys.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.